Big news to start your Wednesday afternoon as France goes on lockdown. The country of France announced minutes ago it's going on lockdown. This is amid concerns on Wall Street about where is our stimulus as we face lockdowns in the country as well. Big developments, and why has Nancy Pelosi's plan to push for a Joe Biden win and hold out for your stimulus until next year imploding and being blamed by Wall Street this afternoon? Oh, how the tides have turned. Big developments, big twists, and big turns, and this is the start of afternoon's LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're good and safe. This is our 2-hour programming block, Afternoons LA, that starts every day at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Starts with this video check. 30 minutes after this is purple. Then 30 minutes after that is McConnell versus Trump. And then finally, 30 minutes after that is Pelosi versus Mnuchin. They're big developments, big news stories, big developments about getting your second stimulus check, third stimulus check, first stimulus check, hazard pay, FPUC, and more. So please tune into all those videos. They'll be coming out shortly this afternoon. I'm so glad that you're safe and you're here to watch me and join this incredible family. If you've not joined this family, go to the Funnest channel and subscribe. Go to the Funnest channel and there's a subscribe button there. You can hit it. There's an alert button next to it. Hit that as well so you get alert when a new video goes live, and you'll get alerts from major developments as they unfold, like the lockdown in France today. Also, like this video, it's really helping. LALATE has been ranking number 1 and number 3 all morning long, so let's keep it up. I'm so glad that you join me on this afternoons, and boy, there is big developments about your second stimulus check, third stimulus check, first stimulus check, and stimulus packages right now. Let's get to the details. In this video, I will be going over the major announcements out of France. These impact you because these impact jobs, they impact the economy here, and they impact sentiment about where our stimulus and our lockdowns could be going next. Nancy and the lockdowns. Nancy Pelosi is under fire today in record form, which I told you was going to happen. I told you the thing was going to hit the fan because ultimately Nancy Pelosi's game of not accepting $1.8 trillion offered by the Trump administration and holding out for $2.2 trillion on the hope that there's a Biden win could ultimately result in an implosion of this economy in just a few weeks. I'm going to explain to you what's going on and why Wall Street is pissed. Oh my goodness. Needless to say, we're going to have a good day. I'm so glad you tuned in to me. We're going to have a good day, we're going to have a fun day, and we're going to be very informed, and we're going to have an upbeat outlook on the situation as we try to get through this together. All right, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that the country of France is on lockdown. As of this Friday, President Emmanuel Macron will put his entire country on lockdown. The announcement made minutes ago, made after the recording of 28, but before this recording, France's president says the country will go on lockdown this Friday, and the lockdown will stay in place until December 1st. Oh yes. This is amid record number of COVID-19 cases in France. He's taking a proactive approach to the situation. Italy and England are expected to follow shortly thereafter. And what about the United States? For purposes of our country, this president will remain in office all the way up until Inauguration Day, whether or not he's reelected or not, and that the lockdowns on a state-by-state level will be determined by the states, not by the president. And so you could be seeing a lockdown shortly. 83,000 COVID-19 cases announced on Friday and Saturday by Johns Hopkins. This is a horrible number. It's the highest daily recorded number ever. And Wall Street saw that number. I saw that number. We talked about that number. We talked about it on Saturday. I said, hey, I'm going to give you the news ahead of time. I'm not going to give you the news after the time. I'm going to say, I told you on Saturday, get ready for stock market to crash. Get ready for stock market to be very volatile, and get ready for this to continue all the way up to election night, a week from yesterday. And that's what's happening today. stock market down substantially, and this impacts your stimulus. Why? Because Wall Street is now seeing 3 reasons to make it very upset about the situation. One, COVID-19 cases out of control. Fears of new lockdowns. Lockdowns mean less jobs. Lockdowns mean higher prices. Lockdowns mean inability to get services. Lockdowns mean cost of living increases. All those type of things. And second, uncertainty about election contested races. I won't be covering that in this video. That will be coming up later this afternoon. And finally, lack of stimulus. And this is actually something which you and I have been discussing a lot on this channel over the last couple of weeks. But today, I guess they got up. Today, it's a front page article on CNBC. There's new concerns that with Joe Biden leading in national poll races, that if he wins, you may not see stimulus until after the thick of winter, and that there's absolutely nothing in place because of Nancy Pelosi. Whew. The question is whether Donald Trump will capitalize on this and switch the poll numbers at the 11th hour, or whether we will head into a very confusing time. Let me explain what's going on. What's going on is that the presidential race will be hopefully determined next Tuesday. It may be a contested race. We may have outstanding ballots, but it will potentially be announced on Tuesday. Election night, the Senate race the same, and of course also contested races and runoff races. Those people in government stay in office all the way up to Inauguration Day in next year, in January, whether or not they lose or they win. And so do they do work? Will they pass you stimulus relief if they lose? Donald Trump has not been asked that question. Yesterday, he said, you know what? When I win, I'm going to give you a big, bold, beautiful stimulus package right after Election Day. He didn't say how much. He didn't say how many stimulus checks. He didn't say when. He didn't say, anything about it. But he was not asked, what if you lose? Well, the new report out today says that no one in the history of politics has ever seen lame ducks, which refer to people who lose in the election and are still in office for a few more weeks, ever passing anything during their lame duck period. As some market participants think they have a better handle on who's going to win the presidential race, Joe Biden, there's actually now another level of concern, says CNBC. National polling shows that Joe Biden's almost a 7-point lead above Donald Trump. But if Trump does lose, this is CNBC, he would have less incentive to push for a big spending package through the lame duck period. This lame duck period is from election night, Tuesday, all the way up to January. And so it's referring to this period of time from election night all the way to January. This is not new. I've discussed it before on this channel a lot of times. So if Trump does lose, he would have less incentive to pass stimulus. And that could leave the economy and the market in an uncomfortable lurch well into January. Uncomfortable lurch is a really soft way of describing a messy, hot mess express situation. While a Biden victory would likely lead to even bigger stimulus packages ultimately, that is not enough to soothe the market's nerves. What it's referring to is that there's a belief that Joe Biden may give you more stimulus than Donald Trump. I don't necessarily believe that, because so far I've never heard from Joe Biden anything about your stimulus checks. I've never heard about anything from Donald Trump about what's going to happen after the election. But we have heard from Joe Biden he wants to spend $7 trillion on things like infrastructure and potholes. And that's not your stimulus. Wall Street is not happy with Nancy Pelosi. We've just had the fits and the starts of Lucy pulling through the football already. Clearly, that's where the market is now. The door has been slammed shut on stimulus. At the best, we're seeing something during the lame duck congressional session, but the market's starting to price in nothing until January. Well, that's not sufficient for us, is it? No, of course not. So where we are now is that while this report in CNBC goes over pages after pages of concerns that if there's a Joe Biden win, then Nancy Pelosi has really shot herself in the foot. I'm not going to go down that path, because that's not what we do here. We push the microcosm, we push the football down the field, and we get the money we need right now. Let me explain what's going on. There's 2 ways to get your stimulus right now, and there could be more ways to get your stimulus after election night. First, there's executive orders. The president can send out executive orders. The president has $800 billion of unused CARES Act 1 money that the president can send out by executive orders. The CARES Act 1 money would be desperately needed. He has talked about it. He has not necessarily referred to it as $800 billion. He's often referred to as 500 or 300 or 600. This channel has identified $800 billion of it. It's clearly CARES Act 1 money. It's clearly PPP money. It's clearly not in Congress, the money. The president can send out the money. It would amount to $4,000 of stimulus checks for individuals and some additional money left over for unemployment assistance. Now, some viewers have had absolutely categorically incredible comments since yesterday saying, give some for unemployment, give some for rent, give some for FPUC. Others said, give it all for stimulus. Others viewers have said, give some also for hazard pay. Absolutely categorically incredible comments. Viewers have also asked, has the president ever pleaded for this money to be sent out? Oh, absolutely. The president, Steve Mnuchin, Mark Meadows, Larry Kudlow, all these people have pled to send out this money and have vowed to do it. The president should be doing it. Outside, there is fake narratives all over the place. The fake narratives that you're seeing pop up all over the place are Nancy's lawyers threaten Donald. Excuse me. It's sort of funny to even say that, like Donald would listen to anything Nancy Pelosi says. No, that never happened. 2, that Donald's lawyers threatened Donald. No, that's also untrue. That Daffy Duck's lawyers to Donald. No, none of the above. But it really sounds quite cute. So thank you for dropping that in the comment. Delete. I see that again. I just a nice delete. No, that's untrue. So the president should, could, and really needs to send out the stimulus right now. Ultimately, this would change the race. He has all the way down to election night to send out the money, and it could change the dynamic of the race. Is he holding for it? Is he holding out to do it? Purple Power, do your thing. Go on social media and push, push, push. If you're new to this channel, what is Purple Power? It's the name that I've come up to describe with the followers of this channel, that they need to push, 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 and they've been doing absolutely incredible job of making it very clear to the president, send out the stimulus relief. So what if the president doesn't do executive orders? Then what? Well, after election night, it's literally too hard to predict. And so this article here, while I did deliver you the nature of the article, I don't agree with the article. I got to tell you why. First, it presumes that we're going to know a winner of the presidential election on election night. That's untrue. Second, it presumes that we're going to know the winner of the Senate on election night. That's also untrue. Third, it presumes that bills are passed based upon the presidential race. I mean, who wrote this junk? It's just awful. We all know, you and I know, that Joe Biden winning the presidency does not give you stimulus relief. It's what happens in the Senate. Hello, we're a little bit more educated than this. Ultimately, what's important to understand is that, does the Senate go Democratic or does the Senate stay Republican? If the Senate goes Democratic, and we know that it's Democratic, all the races have been run, all the runoffs have happened, all the contested elections have happened, we're all done with that. We know the Senate's going to stay Republican. Guess what? No one's going to wait to January. No one's going to wait to January because January is the same as what we are now. What's important to understand is that Nancy's path to do what her way or the highway is the topic of real disdain today. It's basically saying, okay, you wanted to hold out on stimulus relief so that you can get Joe Biden in office, but that idea basically is setting Joe Biden up with a absolute destroyed economy for months of no stimulus relief. And how did that work as a good idea? Yeah, it just doesn't work as a good idea. What's important to understand is that Nancy Pelosi is really under fire today, but whether the president ramps up that message and makes it clearer and louder, because ultimately he should be saying to the press, if you don't elect me, if you don't elect Mitch, get ready because you won't see stimulus until the cows come home. Yeah, that's at the Casino, actually. And that is a really shocking statement that ultimately, if you choose his opponent, if you choose the president's opponent, and you choose Mitch's opponents, then ultimately you could wait very long for stimulus. And that's because Nancy Pelosi set it up that way. Not a good move, Nancy. So what's important to understand, and this is where we're starting to get renewed and invigorated and positive, is that we can push for the second stimulus check, executive order, but we're focused on the first, second, and third stimulus check right now. What is he talking about? Stay with me. I have a lot of stuff coming up right now. It's important to understand that you're owed a lot of checks. It's important to understand that these checks are going to be muddied and they're not going to keep track of how many they owe you. It's important to understand that the same situation is there for FPUC and hazard pay. Now, I always have a comment that someone drops in there somewhere. It's like, can you point to me in the Constitution where they have to give you a stimulus check? No, there is nothing in the Constitution that says they have to give you a stimulus check. They don't have to give you a penny. I mean, they can give you zero. But ultimately, they're elected by us. And that ultimately, if all they want to do is give out big bailouts to big businesses, do you think they're going to be around much longer, these politicians? No. The purpose of stimulus relief is to give people relief during a pandemic. And there is some element of necessity compounded with requirements. In March, the federal government, the states, and similar announced lockdowns. Lockdowns in federal buildings, lockdowns in state buildings, lockdowns in city buildings, lockdowns in cities across the country. And guess what? They were coupled with the idea of being paid a stimulus check. We're putting you on lockdown, but don't worry, we're going to give you a stimulus check. Don't worry, we're going to give you FPUC. Don't worry, we're going to get you all these other things. A lot of people didn't get it initially. It took some time, but they eventually got it. But then there's the stimulus check. You didn't get a stimulus check for April. You didn't get one for May, 3 months of the lockdown. Okay, after the lockdowns are lifted, then what happened? Well, Nancy Pelosi came around with a bill in May that said, okay, I will give you one stimulus check. Okay, you're back due one. You're back due for the month of April. And then what happened to my veterans, my seniors, my people on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, who are dependents on someone else's tax return? What happened to them? They didn't get a first stimulus check. Nancy, we made a mistake. We had a provision in there that said adult dependents don't get a first stimulus check. We made a mistake. We'll make it up to you the next time around. Well, they didn't. So then we came to May, no stimulus check for anyone. June, none. July, none. August, none. September, none. Oh, we're in October. So now she's talking about crushing the virus. With one stimulus check, we're talking about the second stimulus check, hence the title of this video. Second stimulus check. Well, here's the problem. We're facing lockdowns. And lockdowns bring us into the third stimulus package period. And what I've been preparing the viewers of this channel to get ready for and to be loud and vocal of is as lockdowns come for November, December, and January, the stimulus checks you're owed for April are not supposed to be paying you for December of this year. You have not been paid stimulus checks for all these 6 months. And guess what? We have 6 months going forward on us that are going to be, not so easy. You need stimulus checks for what's happened before, and you need stimulus checks for what's happening coming forward. You need stimulus relief going forward, and you need stimulus relief going back. Whether it's FPUC, stimulus checks, hazard pay, all those things need to happen. And if they don't happen, then you have this. That's what Wall Street's talking about. Let me go over some of your incredible questions and comments from yesterday's video, but please stay with me for Purple, the video coming right up after this. I have big developments on that as well. Elizabeth, playing for everybody, especially those ones that are homeless. Scott, I've never heard of any of them talking about stimulus check, just unemployment and hazard pay, and the corporations never about us anymore. Yeah, well, Nancy Pelosi never talks about hazard pay. It's like it doesn't exist. Some moderates only talk about unemployment, but the White House is very good about talking about stimulus checks almost every single day. Alan Wilmorth, anyone that prayed for me the past 3 months, I got a call from my doctors. My cancer showed up in the scan. Now I have to follow up again in 3 months. Alan Wilmorth, sending prayers to you, Alan. Deep, deep prayers from me and the followers of this channel. SoCal Ronnie, strange government gambling with America's futures. Bonnie, executive orders, please. Regina, we need to tweet Trump's page. Sam Carson, can't Miss Pelosi divide the stimulus into different categories? No, she wants to hold up everything for other stuff. Martha, prayers for everyone. Betty, good afternoon, Mr. Purple. I love that. Helen, hello, LA, I'm Purple Power. Mr. Cool, I agree with the government. Fire all of them. Carolyn, please prompt Trump sign the executive order. Liz G, as you said last night, to point fingers at Trump and the rest of them, you're fired. John Waddell, this is a government we need to replace. It is. Go to the Flash channel, subscribe, because no one's going to take care of you better than I am. This is a lot of twists and a lot of turns, and we're far from figuring out where we're going. But together we're going to get there and be better on the other side. Also, like this video. Coming up next is Purple. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LA for more.